All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this video. We are live. The first time for me doing this, that I'll try it out, see how it goes, and see if I can think quick enough on my feet. So, today, what I really want to go through, I want to go through a really important topic because this has come up a number of times over the past few weeks with our clients. And in recalling back to when we started our e-commerce business, which started at the kitchen bench. We started at $0. We bootstrapped the entire thing, did everything ourselves until it was absolutely necessary that we could outsource things, and are now doing multiple six figures per month. We've learned a couple of things, and something that we always like to share with our clients and our audience. Okay, and it's actually one of what we see the biggest mistakes that people make in their e-commerce business. Okay, and that specific thing is outsourcing too early. All right, outsourcing too early. Now, there's obviously reasons why people do this and temptations as to why people do it within their e-commerce business. And those things, are varied, but often what we see is probably two or three things. All right, the first thing is that they don't have the skills to do it themselves. Okay, the skills all the time. So when we talk about outsourcing, we talk about outsourcing like, marketing, for example. They don't do their own Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, or whatever. They don't do their own, organic socials. They don't do their own website design, that sort of thing. And so there's a lot of skills. And as you know, if you're a business owner yourself, there's so many variables and elements to any business that you can't possibly do everything. All right, so that's the first temptation to outsource it. Okay, the second thing is that they could be lazy. All right, so if there's something that needs to be learned that could be learned via YouTube videos or documentations or even a quick course, people prefer to spend money first, ask questions later. That's something we've definitely seen. And when we go in and assess a business about like why are you outsourcing that, why do you even have somebody looking at that? They don't really have an explanation for it. It's more just like, oh, I'd prefer not to do it. Okay, that's the second thing. The third thing is that they have money to burn. Okay, we see this a lot with people who are, backed by finance, or they have a big pool of cash sitting there, which is a great advantage to have. But what it can do is it can make us feel the need to spend the money on something, right? It gives us so many choices that you tend to dip your toe in certain buckets without necessarily looking at the real intricacies or have the stringency that, say, a bootstrapping business would have, right? I remember when we started out, we literally had hardly, two cents to rub together, and we would have to analyze everything down to a T, which in itself is a bit of an inefficiency, but in another sense, it ensured that we were getting the appropriate ROIs for what we were doing. All right, we had to focus on one element of our business at any one time to make sure we got the most out of it, then move on to the next stream, next stream, next stream. All right. And the third thing is obviously, the fourth thing is obviously, having a proven process and system that someone else has got. So leveraging off of them and their experience, which is completely valid. But there are a couple of things that, I would like to address, today to make you aware of about why this is such a big mistake that business owners make. Okay. Because, if we know anything, it's by outsourcing that means cash and cash flow. And we've seen it so many times, too many times, that, a lack of cash flow can absolutely strangle your business. Right. That's literally the number one thing, that people run out of cash. Right. They don't have a big enough cash runway that they can continue to survive in business. So when it comes to outsourcing things, this is like the number one thing we need to think about. Where is our cash going? What's our bang for buck? What's it worth to you? What's it worth to you in time and money? And what is the opportunity cost of doing that? All right. So I want to go through, three or four things about why this is the biggest mistake. Okay. We obviously went through, why people do it, but I need you to put yourself in your own position about why you currently do it or are thinking about doing it, and really think twice about it using these kind of general rules. Okay. So the first thing is, and this is what we learn again, bootstrapping it, where we did everything ourselves, is that you do need to know a little about a lot, and a lot about a few things in particular. Right. So we built our own website. We started our own Facebook, Google ads ourselves without, before we actually invited anybody else to have a look at them. We did our own marketing organically. we did our own influencer outreach, we did our own PR, right? We did a little with a lot so that we could expose ourselves to these things, right? We didn't let anybody else tell us, this is what you need to do, I'll do it for you. If somebody did come to us and approach that, we would look into it ourselves. Currently, for example, I use this as a real life example. Currently, all the rage is TikTok ads, right? UGC, TikTok ads. We're looking into it ourselves. We will take the information on board. We will get the information that we need to start implementing ourselves. If we see validity in the idea, we can get some results ourselves by getting ourselves up to a certain level. Then we will then outsource that because it's going to be worth our while. Okay, so we need to know a little about that one thing that we're actually investing in right now to have the validity to make it worth our while to then outsource that from the get-go. All right, but we need to have an understanding, and that kind of rolls into the point number two, is actually having like an understanding and an expectation of the baseline, the desired outcome or potential outcome of what somebody else is doing for you. All right, having done it yourself. Okay, so for example, when we started our Facebook ads, we threw some money on it, a small budget, and we started to get something along the lines of 5 or 6x ROAS, which is really positive, straight out of the gates. Right? We then had a baseline that we could think of, stick to, that if we outsource to somebody else, this was like, you have to get a minimum of this, even in our own minds, for us to make it worthwhile. Right? You're managing it, you're taking care of everything. That takes a mental drag off of us. You report to us when you need to. We can monitor the results. That relays into what we have achieved previously without your help. Okay, so you've got a baseline and an expectation of what they now need to achieve. Okay, so suddenly you're holding them accountable. You're holding the outsourced party accountable for the results that you can achieve like without them, basically, right? So that really relieves the reliance on them, right? And gives them some responsibility. It shows that you know what you're talking about. And from that, you can then, number three, make informed decisions. So whether that relationship or that partnership is actually working out, you can have numbers to back that up. Previously, before you ran the ads, we were getting this. Now we're getting the same or less or whatever. I can see in the ads manager that you're running so many variations of ads. Nothing really gets a chance to run properly. I'm obviously using the example of Facebook ads because I know it so intimately myself, but this goes for any area of outsourcing anything in business. Okay, so whether that is, even your production, right? Or whether it is your marketing, as in, your organic marketing, like how long does it take you to do your weekly posts? What does that look like when somebody else does it? And what's the cost to benefit ratio there? So it's about knowing the skills yourself. Like number one, knowing the skills yourself so that you can get a baseline for what somebody else should be doing, the performance and the time and the money and effort that they should be spending on this particular thing. And then you can make informed decisions about whether it's working out or not, and whether you need to bring it back in-house or inadvertently do it yourself. All right. And that kind of ties into point number four, is by making those decisions is cutting the fat. So outsourcing anything is generally expensive, but you're trading your time for money in that position. All right. Of course, we don't want to be working 100 hours a week in our business, which, we've been there and done that. We don't want that necessarily, but we need to do almost every component of our business within reason before we then can go and outsource it to somebody else. It just has to be that way, because otherwise there's inefficiencies and there's loopholes in your cash flow that could be better spent elsewhere, right? You're wasting valuable resources and time and money with somebody else actually performing those tasks for you. All right, so I just really wanted to touch on that because, as I say, it's the biggest mistake that we see e-commerce businesses making at the moment. Have an understanding yourself of the specific task. You need to have been able to not necessarily master it, but have an understanding so that you can, as I say, have a baseline and expectation and analyze the results objectively in comparison to what you've been able to achieve in the past. So again, this goes across all aspects of your business. Look for opportunities for you to do it, learn the skills. I'd say in really blunt terms, like don't be lazy about it. Do the research and figure out how to do it yourself first then look for opportunities to actually outsource. It'll save you, months and years of headaches, with agencies, for example, not delivering on their promises, your misaligned expectations with what you feel you can achieve versus what the reality of it is. All right. So, look, I really hope this has been valuable for you. I hope it helps. Any questions, as always, drop me a comment below. Let me know. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.